Children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it happen.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host, Orrett Connor.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. So, like the intro says, what's on your mind? We want to know. So, we have no guests in the studio. We will have an open line when we return. But I had some birthday greetings this morning that I was unable to share on for the record. And while that is sponsored, we're going to still share these birthday greetings to our folks out there as well, because we know that you're big fans of Radio Cayman, and we have to ensure that we accommodate you come what may. So please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I'm your guest host, Orrett Connor. And if you're not tired of hearing my voice on Radio Cayman, then thank you and thanks for joining us as well. The phone lines will be open. They are open. Our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. Also 949-8037, 949-6990. Our WhatsApp number, 925-3261. And if you just want to continue the conversation from this morning or to stay on the same topics, you're welcome to do so as well. Meanwhile, let's look at some birthdays. We see Timothy Adam celebrated his birthday yesterday. Happy belated birthday to Timothy Adam. Tomorrow, we see that Judy Henriquez celebrating a birthday. Miss Ann Rice celebrating a birthday tomorrow. Tanya Grant celebrating a birthday tomorrow. On Sunday, the 4th of May, Gina Wells celebrating a birthday, as well as Janet Campbell also celebrating a birthday. So we want to say happy birthday to Gina, and Janet when it comes on Sunday as well. And don't forget Monday is a holiday here in the Cayman Islands as well, May the 5th, celebrating Emancipation Day. So all of you who are going to be on island, or if you're going to be off island as well, please ensure that you are careful out there as well. So somebody has shot a question to me already. Good morning. Good afternoon, OC. Why does the entire House have to vote on the next government when the majority has already confirmed the government? Explain. Well, while the voting and the election process falls under our election law, our constitution and our newest constitution, the Cayman Islands Constitution Order 2009, sets out the process under which Parliament operates. And while the people have elected their representatives, it is where the representatives meet and discuss their business, where the business is conducted. Those persons then meet there to officially elect them to their respective positions. So, like Mr. Ard McLean explained this morning, amongst themselves, they have chosen who their premier will be. They have chosen who the deputy premier will be. That will all be confirmed and formalized in our parliament. Right? So while the people elected them, then those who are elected then amongst themselves decide who will be given certain responsibilities. First of those responsibilities, of course, we talked about earlier, will be the speaker. Then our premier, will be chosen as well. Ministers, all members of parliament will be sworn in. Ministers will be selected and sworn in as well. All part of the parliamentary procedures. We can't take credit for inventing them. It comes from, the mother country, steeped in tradition and conventions in the United Kingdom, and we have followed those as well. But again, it doesn't go back to today. When I get a chance, if you get an opportunity to go on to the elections website, and you will see an article there about the history of elections in the Cayman Islands. I will try to share that with you as well. So that is it. And the person says, what nationalities were the election observers? I'll try to find that for you as well. And I also hope and I trust that you were able to listen on Radio Cayman at 10 o'clock this morning, or to watch CIG TV as they conducted their press briefing. They have issued a preliminary report, or made a preliminary statement on the elections process in the Cayman Islands, and I must say it was extremely complimentary about the process as well. Kudos to Supervisor of Elections and his staff as well, and I will share some of those comments with you also. They were, of course, from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. I will get all of those details and share with that listener who questioned that as well. I think these were these some comments that were being made while this was 11:40, so it wouldn't have been that as well. So we will find those information to you. Meanwhile, I will give you a summary of what when I watched it, what was said. For instance, the leader of the elections observers spoke about the transparency of the count, how transparent the count was as well. Sometimes we have a tendency to quibble amongst ourselves and to say, oh, this wasn't done, that wasn't done, the other thing wasn't done. They were quite happy with the transparency of the count. They were impressed and spoke highly about the kindness of the election staff, how they treated people with dignity, those voters, persons who came in to vote, how they were treated with dignity. They spoke about the pride of the election workers as they went about conducting the elections as well. In the press briefing itself, when they were asked by one reporter about if they could highlight some of the good things and the bad things about the process and the procedures in Cayman, they pointed out that they don't use good and bad in terms of terminology. What they were concerned about and what they were looking into as to whether or not our procedures and processes, as well as our legislation, whether or not those things are in compliance with international standards. So those of us who like to nitpick and to find a little bit fault here, a little bit of fault here, and a little bit of fault there. Oh, there's a little bit, the crease is not right in my pants. The crease is not right in my shirt sleeve, or this button is a little bit loose. No, they were looking to see whether or not you followed the procedures when you're making that shirt, rather than about whether or not the buttons are loose. I'm not sure if that's a good analogy or not, but anyway. But they certainly, their concern was that our processes and procedures were in compliance with international standards. They were also extremely complimentary about the knowledge of the polling staff as well, how knowledgeable they were about the work that they had to do. And then when asked about the referendum legislation and the absence of any permanent referenda legislation, every time we have a referendum, we create legislation to suit that particular referendum. And what they sometimes do is cut and paste from the elections law in relation to certain procedures as well. And their response to that was, one of the observers said, in general, it is not ideal to cobble any law before an election. And we know that the referendum law was passed in the Cayman Islands in February of this year, and of course we had an election in April of this year. So they said it is not, in general, it is not ideal. Then when asked about the empty ballot box that was left at the polling station, I think they say that they heard that on the news, and when they spoke to the supervisor of elections about it, and they understood that it was simply an empty ballot box that was left behind, and they didn't see that being egregious in, those are my words now, egregious in any form whatsoever. It was an empty ballot box as well. So again, folks, I encourage you, you can view the press briefing on CIG TV, and they have also published, and this is located on their website, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association's website, I believe it is, the preliminary statement in relation to their election observer mission to the Cayman Islands, April of 2025. With that, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I am your guest host, Orrett Connor. One of my listeners wanted to, what did they send to me and said, just wondering how many hours sleep you're running on this week, with a big laughing emoji. And the person says that they need some of my energy. Well, I'm doing what I like, talking about the things that I like to talk about, but not only that I have some knowledge of. I never venture into things or to talk about things that I really don't know anything about. But I'm doing that. I enjoy it. And while I may say that, and some may say, well, if he says that, they may, since they know that he loves it, they may take advantage of him. I said, and I'll say to you, no. Management here at Radio Cayman, they have been, quite complimentary. They have been really conscious, of the fact that I'm, doing many hours as well. They're not taking advantage in any way. And like I said, I enjoy doing what I'm doing. In the earlier days when I used to ride 100 miles on a Sunday, and that was because I loved riding my bike and riding those distances. Of course, as you age, and for some reason I believe that when you age, you just feel that the conditions out there are much hotter as well, the weather conditions, not to mention the dangerous conditions, out there on the bike. But again, the things that I love to do, I always do it in excess. So again, thanks for your questions and your comments in that regard. Trying to find the composition, the names of the members of the observer mission, but I will have that in a second. Let's see if it's at the end of the document here. If it isn't, we will get it for you. But I will share with you some of the statements. This is made by the deputy, Rob Ward. He's the head of mission, and he's from Jersey. And he says that he was grateful for the warm and open reception that their international team of observers have received in the Cayman Islands. On election day, they were impressed at the high levels of transparency organization and efficiency that they observed, as well as the personal commitment and civic duty on display by those involved. He goes on to say that we saw particular attention being paid to include persons with disabilities, both in advance, mobile voting, and on election day. And he then goes on to say that he hopes that these initial findings and the later report are of service to the people of the Cayman Islands in bolstering democracy in these islands. And then they go on to talk about on Wednesday what they observed as well. Introduction to the mission. Yep. So here we go. In relation to introduction to the mission, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, British Islands and Mediterranean region, known as BIMR, conducted an international election observer mission in the Cayman Islands, general elections on April 30th. This is the fourth time the CPA BIMR has observed general elections in the Cayman Islands, with previous missions in 2013, 2017, and 2021. The CPI BIMR was invited to facilitate this observation by the governor and had cross-party support in the Cayman Islands, with all three political parties and a number of independent candidates engaging with the mission. The observers were present from the 21st of April until the 2nd of May. The mission was composed of 9 observers, including 4 Commonwealth parliamentarians. The head of the mission was Deputy Rob Ward from Jersey, not New Jersey, Jersey. And the short-term observers were Evelyn Tweed, member of the Scottish Parliament, Scotland, Tim Johnson, MHK from the Isle of Man, and Alan Davies from Wales. The election analysis, the election analysts were Sandy Gale and Anne Marlborough. 3 CPA BIMR staff coordinated the mission. The mission conducted an independent assessment of the Cayman Islands general elections against international legal standards, commitments and obligations, as well as domestic law. The mission is independent in its composition, findings, and conclusions, adhering to the Declaration of Principles for International Election Observation and the Code of Conduct for International Election Observers. Go on to say that prior to election day, observers met a wide range of election stakeholders, attended campaign rallies, and I think I mentioned that in an early show that was normal for them to attend campaign rallies as well, and observed advanced mobile voting in 6 districts. On election day, the mission observed voting across Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac in all 19 districts, visiting 27 polling stations and observing 5 counting centers as well. And then in this preliminary report, they go on to talk about the political background of the Cayman Islands, the legal framework under which we operate. They go on to talk about the elections system. Let's see what they say about our elections system. Says the election system in the Cayman Islands is defined by the Constitution as amended in 2020 and the Electoral Act 2022 revision. It operates under a first, and you heard this also spoken to by Mr. Arden yesterday, I believe it was, operating under a first past the post system in single member constituencies. Since 2017, since the 2017 general elections, the Cayman Islands transitioned from multi-member districts to 19 single-member electoral districts, reinforcing, and listen to this, folks, all of you who want to have all of those votes, reinforcing the, and I quote, one person, one vote principle. Under the Elections Act, the candidate with the most votes wins the seat, and there is no requirement for an absolute majority, which is more than 50% of the vote, which is what someone spoke about, that when you have such small numbers in your constituency and you have so many candidates, that maybe we should have a runoff system where if no one gets more than 50% plus one of the votes, then a runoff should be held between the persons who garnered the most votes, the two persons who garnered the most votes as well. I'm going to take a pause there because we do have a caller. We're going to go to the commercial break first, and then when we return, we will take the caller. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points. Or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo Footlong Cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise the motoring public of road works planned for Sunday, May 4th that will require a partial road closure along Shamrock Road and Bordentown Road. The authority will conduct work on its equipment located at the intersection of Point Dexter Road and Shamrock Road. The eastbound lane of Shamrock Road between Ocean Club and Point Dexter Road will be closed between 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Eastbound traffic will be diverted onto the east-west arterial. Local access will be granted to residents of the work area. The authority will also conduct infrastructure work on a section of Bordentown Road in the vicinity of Frenchman's Drive. To facilitate the works, the westbound lane will close from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and the eastbound lane will close from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. During these temporary partial road closures, one lane will remain open for traffic. Traffic signs will be posted in the general vicinity of the two work areas, and all motorists are asked to drive cautiously to ensure their safety and that of the Water Authority staff. The Water Authority appreciates the public's patience and understanding and apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. We have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. O.C.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, boy, not too bad at all.
That's good to hear.
Mr. O.C., you know, I want, it might be a good time to say it too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a comment on the subject of secrecy. I believe it is important, especially in a time like this, that you know, you don't let out secrets on this one and let out secret on the other one and saying too much, because you don't even know what kind of authorities listening to what he's saying, and it could probably incriminate people. You know, people might take it lightly by saying what the opponent did, or you know, little strategies and politics and stuff like that. But I think it, in my opinion, I believe it's best to keep a lot of these things to themselves. You know, I mean, it's good to keep secrets. You know, I believe so. That's my belief. I mean,
Mm-hmm. And it's only a secret if you keep it to yourself.
Yeah, keep the secret forever. Keep the secret forever. I mean, in my opinion, you know, and said, you know, sometimes people might want to let out a secret on this one, and then next thing you know, you and the same person got to work together. So I believe the best thing to do is that they can keep their secrets to themselves, and you know, so it things don't get out of control and all that sort of stuff. That's my opinion. It's good when somebody can do things, whether it's good strategies, whatever it is, and just keep the secret forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
And you know what happens that if you tell someone something in confidence, and later on they pass that on to someone else, then the person that they pass it on to, and if they know that it was given to them in confidence, they're going to be hesitant about sharing anything with you, because they're going to say, well, you the same. What we used to, there was an old saying that the same dog that will bring a bone will carry one. Right? Yeah.
You're disqualified immediately when you talk much. You can't. I don't work with people like that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it, and the secrets, you know, secrets forever, and that's it. Not much to say at all.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
I mean, even when you look at political strategies, you know, good, decent political strategies. If you talk it and you say, well, this is what we plan to do, and they get to the opponent, here's, well, then you lost. So it's not necessarily anything about bad things, but even good strategies and stuff like that.
And I believe that the reason that some people believe that the reason that we were able to identify and agree on the formation of a government so quickly after the elections was because those discussions were taking place, before. And it seems as if that is true, then that was probably one of the best kept secrets in Cayman for a while.
You're right. You're right about that.
Uh-huh.
He got as Celine Dion say, "Can you keep a secret?" And yes, sir. Oh yeah. So that's my belief. I've seen it work in so many different areas of life.
Yep.
You know, being able to be secret and that sort of thing.
Alrighty.
Not disappoint.
Yep. So, what's your views on the results of the elections? How do you feel about it? You feel happy?
Well, it's good to see that Cayman Islands went out and vote and that they did what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have an opinion on any political stuff. I try not to get too much into it, really.
But you did vote, did you? I won't ask you who you voted for, but you did vote, right?
To be quite honest with you, I didn't vote. No, I didn't. I was waiting for them to extend the time for me to register. I didn't vote at all. I didn't vote. So.
But you registered?
No, I didn't register.
Okay. Got you then.
No, sir. No, it don't make sense to lie about it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't register at all. I was waiting for them to extend the time for me to register.
Mm-hmm,
I didn't get the chance to register, so I didn't vote at all.
Okay.
But you know, I believe in quite a few of them. You know, I believe in them. I believe that some of our elected persons got great abilities that they can do good things for the country.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I can't say too much, you know, but I believe in quite a few of them. You know, I believe in their willingness and abilities to do good for the people of the Cayman Islands, do good for the country. That's my belief, you know, and quite a few of them I believe in, and quite a few of them. Yes, sir. I can't say too much, Miss Ozzy.
Yep. Whatever you said is a secret between me and you. On radio.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes,
couldn't resist that one.
Okay, I know.
All right, you take care.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, so one of our listeners has written in and said, Mr. O.C., I just want to say that I am very happy about the results from Prospect and West Bay West. I am so happy for Michael Miles and Miss Julie. And many of you will get the opportunity to voice your I wouldn't say voice your opinions, to actually say your thank yous, and also to your voice your congratulations, to those persons who were successful. And if you want to do so, just write in. You may want to call in and say so, but some of you may say, well, they may recognize my voice on the radio. So if you send it in to us, we can read it out. We won't check your profile to see who it is, who sent it to us. We just read it out. We're not curious. We just want to spread, the joy around, and your sentiments as well. So, if you feel a certain way about your candidate, please send it. But if you have nothing good to say about them, I wouldn't encourage you, to do that, as well. We want to be as positive as possible, going in. And you heard what the people, the international election observers said about us, about the way that we treated our voters, we have a reputation for that in the Cayman Islands. And that is why it is so important for us to keep it that way. I know that sometimes, things change in that regard as well, but we need to keep it that way. We have another caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
Okay, thank you. I would just like to say I'm pleased with the results, but I am wondering, by some chance, if I make it through the next 4 years, if the same people that keep running every year for all the years I've been here, and they're not going anywhere, if they could stop them from running.
You mean those that are unsuccessful?
Yes. Like certain ones that run every 4 years.
Why would you want to stop them from running?
Because every 4 years they run,
Uh-huh.
and nothing happens. Like the lady in the back. All the years I've been here, she been running. Things
Well,
like that, you know?
I had the opportunity to speak with her personally, and she acknowledges the fact that she hasn't been successful, and I believe that she did say that this would probably be the last time. But obviously she enjoys what she's doing. She's able to talk to talk to the people. She's able to talk to the people, hear their concerns and everything else. And you know, who knows what may happen in one election? Who knows?
Well, O.C., anybody that I know that is happy to throw away $1,000 just like that. And I mean, I've been here 52 years, right? I say, well, I can't throw away $1,000 for nothing. You know, maybe airfare, but that's about it. But there's a few of them that just keep running or run to look famous, and it's only them that think so much of them. In other words, the capacity of their brain power.
Okay. Point well taken. Point taken. But yeah.
But other than that, I wish if they named out who gets what ministry yet.
No, I saw some things circulating, but nothing officially has been done with that yet. I think because of the fact that you can probably have some broad things like you may know who's going to be minister, of finance and things of that nature. But it is not unusual for certain responsibilities, portfolios, subjects to be juggled around. And I think when they sit down with the civil servants, the deputy governor, the chief officers, the cabinet secretary, and those things will be worked out. So it may be a little bit premature to get right down to the specifics, but we may have some broad descriptions of what they will be responsible for.
Okay, and I'm glad to see that Ezzard has been considered as speaker.
I saw that as well. I don't know how much currency to place on that, on anything that comes out on social media, though. I would place more reliance if it comes, from the person who is slated to be the premier. Okay. Or well, not even him. Sorry, I have to apologize, on that, because it's going to be up to the Parliament to collectively decide that. They will vote on that, or who will be the speaker. Parliament will vote on that.
Okay, but I'm glad that they came up with the name of Ezzard.
Yeah, at least they have to put some names forward as because well for the to select. Yeah,
a large amount of experience.
Yeah.
But so far it's been quite exciting.
Great to know. Okay, caller, thank you very much. We have to go to our news, folks. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Radio station. Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. The Cayman Islands National Weather Service has restored the Cayman Brac weather radio, ensuring residents of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman regain access to the essential service. The 107.9 FM broadcast was disrupted due to a faulty transmitter, but the Cayman Islands National Weather Service and Radio Cayman technicians have replaced the equipment and installed a spare to prevent future outages. The service delivers forecasts and vital alerts, playing a crucial role in keeping the community informed during severe weather conditions. In regional news, in St. Vincent, a man accused of threatening to kill his mother has been freed after she refused to testify against him. Glenroy Providence denied the charges when he appeared in court, facing 2 counts of making threats against his mother on the 2nd of February. He allegedly used threatening language in private and repeated it in a public place. Prosecutors argued that the threat was serious, but Providence claimed his mother was senile. He was granted an EC $1,000 bail with strict conditions, including vacating the premises and avoiding contact with his mother. After multiple adjournments, the prosecution reported that the mother was no longer willing to proceed with the allegations, leading to the magistrate dismissing the case for lack of evidence. The St. Kitts and Nevis government has reported an 8% increase in cruise arrivals during 2024 and 2025, with 748,056 passengers visiting from October to April. Tourism Minister Marsha Henderson credited the rise to joint efforts in improving guest experience, port facilities, and overall visitor satisfaction. She stressed that tourism success is not just in numbers, but in its benefits for citizens. A key initiative, the Tour Development Program, was launched in August 2024 to help small businesses create unique tour offerings. Currently, 15 companies are participating. Small tour operators can now market their services directly to cruise lines, following the resolution for a long-standing insurance challenge. Executives from Royal Caribbean Group will visit St. Kitts and Nevis later this month, continuing engagement efforts that began with Carnival Cooperation visiting in October 2024. That's your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
In the early 1900s, the Sister Islands enjoyed a relative prosperity, with the cultivation and subsequent exports of coconut being the primary industry, as Commissioner Sanguinetti would note during his 1902 visit.
Business seemed brisk. There has been a very large coconut crop, such as not born for years, and the carrying capacity of the island vessels to deal with the export of nuts have been shipped between October and February last.
The coconut industry would continue to expand with the expansion of plantations into large tracts of unused land.
Information from this historical vignette was sourced from Founded Upon the Seas, A History of the Cayman Islands and Their People by Michael Creighton and the New History Committee.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. No guests in the studio. The phone lines are open. We have a toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 534-8255. Also 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp number 925-3261. So I'm going to go back to a question that I read earlier because I'm not sure that I may have fully answered the question when the person asked the question as to why does the entire House have to vote on the new government when the majority has already confirmed the government. So they will, because no party received a majority of the seats in Parliament, Parliament has to choose to vote for, they have to vote for the person who will take up the office of Premier, right? Of Premier. Parliament will vote on the Speaker. The members will vote to choose the Speaker, and they will vote to choose the Premier, because no, in the case of the Premier, no party obtained the majority of the seats that they could go to the governor and say, I want to form the party because I have the majority of seats in her Parliament. That didn't take place. Parliament does not vote for the members of cabinet. It is the Premier who will choose the members of cabinet. He will make recommendations to the governor, which the governor is basically obligated to accept. So that will be done by the Premier, and they will be sworn in by the governor. So the members of Parliament, like I said, they will choose a Speaker. That Speaker will come from either within their numbers or outside of Parliament, and as well as the Premier, because no party obtained the majority of seats in our Parliament, which would be 10. No party received that amount. So that's all that the parliamentarians would be voting for. This person says, OC, may I suggest that the elections office be staffed with at least 4 to 5 deputies and other office staff that's mobile and people friendly. And I take it that they mean throughout the elections process, because I believe in the smaller constituencies, like say North Side and East End, there may be a returning officer, but not necessarily a deputy returning officer. For the larger ones, there may be one or more deputy returning officers as well. They go on to say that those deputies must be visible at the various polling stations. Then they say that their first day impression of the polling station was that the officers were sparse and those there were slow to find names of voters. Let me address that one before we go on to the other one. The election staff go through a rigorous training process. They try to retain the officers, that is the poll clerks, the presiding officers, and even those persons who are outside the polling station checking your identity first to make sure that you're at the right polling station. They're all trained, and they try to retain those persons from one election to the other. So they try to do that, but not everyone will be at the same speed. Then the person goes on to say, secondly, in the polling station, there are 3 or 4 voting booths, but the slow officers could only accommodate 1 voter at a time. In our early days, when we had the voting booths as well, we noticed something like that. And what we actually found out was that the officers weren't utilizing all of the booths, and they were waiting for a person to come out before they would direct them to another one. I certainly saw improvements, and where I went to vote, the presiding officer said to me at that point in time which voting booths were vacant, were empty, and by the time she said that, polling booth number 1 was vacant. Someone had just walked out of that, and I walked into that polling booth and cast my vote. I was actually tempted to just mark my paper at the my ballot paper at the desk with the presiding officer, but that would not have been the proper thing to do. But at that polling station, they were directing you, and they were utilizing all of the voting booths as well. And they also say, may I suggest that the elections office hold exercises on the efficient movement of voters, since this time of the year is hot and muggy. Not enough shade. Okay, yeah, that's understood. One complaint, and I understand that quite well. One complaint that I had at the polling station, because it was makeshift with tents and stuff, I had to stand inside for a few minutes for my eyes to adjust to the lighting, because the lighting was so low, and then the walls were all dark. There were, I think there may have been black curtains in there. So that was one fault that I had of my polling station, that the lighting in there was extremely, extremely low, bearing in mind that it was makeshift. We have to recognize the fact that the supervisor of elections and his staff, they are limited to the structures that they can use as polling stations. Normally it's schools, sometimes church halls, civic centers and things of that nature. But because of the fact that we have now 19 constituencies, it's a little bit more difficult to find those. But, again, yes, if we can move people quickly. And if someone asks me what's the best time to go and vote, I would say wait until about in the afternoon. Sometimes things slow down a little bit. You don't want to get there early sometimes, because that's when the lines will be. There will be lines at that point in time, because people want to get their voting over with and have the rest of the day for themselves. So that would be the case, with that as well. Paul, I think we have to go to the commercial break now. No, this one we go straight through until 1:30, right? Yep. I'm starting to get accustomed to it now after 2 months almost. So, any calls on hold at this point in time? No callers? Okay. Let's look at some of the other messages that may have been sent in. This person says, I respect those people working at West End School. They were all professional, and most are very respectful. Again, kudos. And, we'll pass that on to the supervisor of elections. Okay, so this person has written and said, we recognize that each qualified person has a right to vote, to run in the elections. That being said, this election results made a few things apparent. With the joining of the TCCP and the CINP, that is Cayman Islands National Party, Roy McTaggart is vulnerable next election, so we can predict him announcing his retirement after this term. Similar comments may be made for Roy Tatum unless he manages to do some amazing groundwork in the next 4 years. Mr. Alric Lindsay has not been able to find a team in 3 elections, and his results were less impressive this time when he should have had an advantage. He may also choose not to stand in Georgetown South again. Ozzy Borden had an underwhelming result in Bordentown West, and last time he was 3rd in Bordentown East. He may decide enough is enough unless the TCCP team is excellent breathing life back into Ozzy's political career. Justin in Northside may also have to rethink his strategy as J.E. Banks has now emerged as a kingmaker and has a windfall of support on all sides. Good luck and Godspeed to the good ship Cayman. And then they go on to ask, why are we encouraged to mark a permanent ballot with a pencil and not a pen? And we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. And thanks for those comments. Called a lot of names, but they're all public figures because they all ran in the election. So that's the reason why I read them out as well. And I'll have some commentary on some of those comments as well. Well thought out response that this person sent to me and gives a lot of room for discussion. I may need 2 shows to take up all of that. But meanwhile, we do have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Hi, Mr. O.C. I thought I'd join you in conversation today.
Thank you.
You look like you needed some company.
I'm telling you, and, I was supposed to have a guest, but I'm going to find some time, and you tell me when it is convenient for you, when you can actually, get out there in the public.
Yes, you can. So I'm just calling today to follow up on yesterday. I listened to the statement of the Commonwealth Observer Mission this morning, and it hit the nail on the head on my statement yesterday about the deficit in our referendum legislation. Right. So I certainly, seeing that we have a number of, I think, national issues, I wouldn't be surprised if we're back in a vote at some point in time in the next 4 years. And it would be a crying shame if we find ourselves in a similar situation where we have an undeveloped referendum culture in Cayman and practice. The commission members spoke about the Council of Venice and the recommended guidelines, international guidelines for the holding of referendums, and the kind of things that should be contained in the legislation. I have to say I remain disappointed for a long time that this has not been addressed, because as you would know, when the referendum was held with the Constitution, put in place the Constitution, it was recognized by all of the parliamentarians then that if we are going to introduce a more vibrant democracy where we engage the public directly, then we must have the tools in our statute to facilitate that.
Right.
They spoke about equality of arms, equity, the fact that there should be published information on all sides, easy to access, that there should even be looking at funding limits and campaign financing limits. Also, as we know, the issue of how the question is framed has come up a number of times. These are not new issues for us. And at some point in time, and I will speak to you offline, there needs to be a conversation. Whilst we created at a national level a constitution that really takes our democracy to another level, there's still many holes in it, many undeveloped parts to it, many processes in government that actually hamper the independence of how some of the institutions that support democracy work, as opposed to encouraging their independence and allowing them to communicate and engage with the society on various really serious issues. I mean, I find it almost stunning that we hear very little from our Human Rights Commission. We hear very little from our Constitutional Commission. you know.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the kinds of commissions that are supposed to be, you know, they almost are like, I would say, how a select committee of Parliament would work. You know, they are constantly looking at these issues and coming up with recommendations and getting feedback and putting the reports out there, engaging, probably communicating with the executive or probably Parliament through their reports. And that is what creates a vibrant democracy.
Now, do you believe that they feel that their hands may be tied somewhat? Because they do make recommendations, especially the Constitutional Commission. Huh?
One must ask why their hands
Yes.
You know, when I was investigating, when I worked in the AG's chambers, I was asked to do a body of work because there was some confusion over how these commissions' reports were to be tabled in Parliament. And I was asked to look at that question, and I did, and I gave my opinion. At the time, it was quite an unpopular opinion, but in the end, it was the correct opinion. And, you know, one of the things I did was I actually I communicated with other, like, constitutional bodies about how they functioned, how they operated, how their independence from the executive branch was expressed. And I was quite intrigued by Trinidad and Tobago because even down to the very funding of these commissions was not governed by the executive. Because they report to Parliament. So their budgets were proposed to Parliament through the office of the Prime Minister. But the Prime Minister could not take their budget proposal and sit down in their cabinet and tear it to shreds and then hand them a budget that they think is appropriate. What their constitutional or legislative mechanism allowed was for the Prime Minister, if he had any observation, he or she, I should say, had any observations about the budget proposed, could do a cover note on top of the budget proposal that is then handed down into Parliament and debated, I guess, what would be the equivalent of our Finance Committee. And then all of the Finance Committee members would debate the issue or probe the issue, and Parliament made a decision on their budget.
Okay.
You understand? So there are many aspects of our democratic institutions that need a closer look, particularly around the issue of their independence and their relationship to the Parliament and the relationship to the executive.
Right? Question also, both Mr. Arden McLean and myself are strong proponents of having an elections commission as opposed to the current system that we have. Do you have a view on that?
It was something discussed that was looked at, I believe, the same time we did the Constitution. As a matter of fact, we had an opportunity to meet with the Elections Commission, I think, in the UK, and to see how they operated. I think I'll probably reserve my opinion on it now. I think in principle there are merits, but we also have to look at practicalities. We also have to think about the fact that Cayman is evolving. And, you know, one of the things I would say is it's a potential merit. It frees up the role of Mr. Howell or any chief officer who holds the position of both chief officer and election supervisor. The function of a chief officer, think about it. A government has a mandate. A government is expecting the civil service to implement their mandate. But 1 year out from the end of government, the head civil servant has to be out running the election system and has to rely on his or her surrogates or deputies to do this, or to complete the impossible task of trying to fulfill both.
Both, yeah.
Right? And so I do, once again, I think these are ripe for debate. I think there are ways to do things affordably. And we have to recognize, too, that our society is growing, the demands are growing, or the expectations, and that everything is evolving. We're I think pretty much we're in flux. Even the way that our electorate wants to engage with our candidates and our MPs, that's changing, and the MPs, and I encourage the MPs who are, whether they have formed the government or they are in opposition, to recognize that things are evolving and to pivot.
Yep.
Right.
That's
so
that's some sage advice. Yes, sage.
Yeah. So nothing stays the same. They're all getting older. Nothing stays the same. And I would say that in terms of the commission's statement this morning, I really would like, as a past deputy supervisor of elections, I really would like to highlight the compliments that the commission gave on the professionalism,
yes,
the kindness of the election workers, their thoroughness in the delivery of the key benchmarks of the elections process. And whilst we understand that some mistakes were made, but they were in isolation, and we have to remember that mistakes can happen. We are all human. I understand that there were some conspiracy theories going around about there was something in the box and so forth.
Yeah.
Not to be untrue, but we also have to say, what is the agenda of the mischief maker?
Yeah.
Or the mischief makers, right? And so I want to compliment Wes, Sheena, and all the other deputy supervisors, polling clerks, etc., for their hard work and their tenacity to come out months in advance and do the training. Trainings are not easy, and for them to deliver something of a I would say internationally high standard. We have to remember, it's not just a nationally high standard; it's an internationally high standard.
Yep, because we're held to international standards. Yes, yeah.
Right, we're held to international standards, and we must be very proud of that.
Yeah.
I would say, however, it is a national exercise. It happens every 4 years, and there must be a mechanism, and I would encourage the supervisors to think of a mechanism whereby they can get formal feedback from the electorate that they can process every 4 years and improve the next election.
Good idea. And I know you're being modest, but you need to give yourself some kudos as well, because you provided legal in addition, before becoming a deputy supervisor of elections, you also provided legal advice to the elections office as well, and that proved to be so important to us, and in our training and everything else. So I want to give kudos to you as well.
Thank you, Mr. O.C. I enjoyed that part of my life a lot, working with you and
Yes.
Kearney and Mr. Scott and Mr. McCoy and etc. And you all helped to groom me. You all helped to groom me. So I suppose I say thank you, but I also have to say thanks to you also. Okay. But the last thing I wanted to raise, it's a little bit of a segue, and maybe a slightly uncomfortable subject. I understand that when I called yesterday, a caller called in and said I wasn't Caymanian. I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it either. I can't say that I heard that,
Well, it aggrieved a person so much that they actually went to my aunt to tell her that's what she heard. But I wanted to just address this on a national level and on video. If the call happened, because I didn't hear it, all I can say is that I know what I am.
Yep.
And if I had to rely and live off of the opinions of others, I wouldn't go anywhere in my life. Right?
Yeah.
And when people don't have anything that they can say that's constructive, they tend to go low.
I'm going to check back on the audio on that to see that I don't recall it.
Hear it, but anyway, but even if that is the case, I did hear myself yesterday on the Business Buzz, your colleague Jackie reading off the comments on the YouTube about Mr. Saunders and his accent.
Oh.
Right? And I found that also to be a low blow and a swipe.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And Caymanians have to recognize that we come in all shapes and forms. And some of us understand that we are owned sometimes and disowned other times. You understand? We're owned when it's convenient.
Yes.
But that has not stopped us because we love our country. This is our home, and we will die for it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Well said. Well said.
We are a small community. Those things don't bring us together. And we have a huge generation of Caymanians who are of mixed heritage. And this is a topic that we have not discussed, but we must discuss nationally.
Yep.
They are mixed heritage.
Yep.
And we must ensure that they feel that they are Caymanian and they have every right to be here, to have a life here, and to be seen as a first-class citizen here.
Yep.
Right? Because if we don't, we don't have to wait for the foreigners or to claim that the foreigners are mashing up our country.
Yeah.
We'll be mashing it up ourselves.
Yeah. And rest assured that had I heard that, I would have taken them on, in relation to it.
I'm wondering if the person got confused and it came up on the lunch hour or something. I didn't hear it yesterday morning, but because it came up, and I did hear the comments made about Chris Saunders, I said, you know what? My better instincts are telling me to address this, right? Because they know who my family. If they don't know who I am, they could go look up and see who I am. They know who my family is.
Yeah.
And they probably would say, "Oh, but she's not Caymanian." But you know what? That's okay. I am Caymanian.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. But I'll check it out. And great talking with you, and we will talk some more.
You too. Bye.
Okay, take care now. I believe we still have another caller on hold, but we have to go to a commercial break. Caller, just hang right in there. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we return, we will take your call. Please stay tuned.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Mommy, why can't dogs talk? Why do I have to go to school and you don't? Why do you sing in the morning when you're bad at it? Why don't you brush your teeth when you take me to school? Why doesn't it ever snow here? Why does Daddy take the bus to work? Why are trees so tall? Why don't you tell me where babies come from? Mommy? Mommy? Mommy?
We're like a kid that doesn't ask a million questions before noon. CG Brit-K. Good like that.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Have you ever dreamed of starting a business that offers an authentic Caymanian product and service and shares the magic of these islands? With the Visitor Experience Development Grant, you could get up to $50,000 to bring your idea to life. From wellness to tech, cultural workshops to food experiences, the opportunity is yours. Applications open from April 15th to May 30th. Take the first step. Visit www.ourcayman.ky/VEDGP today to find out more.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. I want to say thank you for the next caller who's been so patient. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Jose, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
That lady just now, all you need to do is listen to her accent. You don't need to tell where she's from.
Yes. She's a great person, a great family as well, that I grew up with, knew over the years. Her sister and I at what was then the secondary modern school, secondary modern. We competed with each other in every class. It was always first and second in every class. Grew up with the whole family right next door to me as well.
Yeah. It's no question about our accent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can't hide. I don't care where we I was just commenting on that, but my question is, Sterling, is he coming back?
I can't. I don't know. I can't say. I can't really opine on that at all.
I wish he would.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what his plans are. I'm really not sure. But I would say this much. I'll say this in the context that candidates, those persons who choose to run as candidates, if they're working in the private sector, they may ask their employer to take a leave of absence. Yeah. And if they're successful, of course, then they go into Parliament. Right. If they are unsuccessful, then they can return to work. Government in the past has had a different policy, and I think it needs to change, and I believe it has changed, because since then we had civil servants who held high positions as chief officers, then ran as candidates, became parliamentarians, became ministers, and eventually re-entered the civil service again. So the precedent is there. I would say that much. The precedent is there.
Because it's all about, still helping and doing good to the country. And that's what it's all about. So I really hope that, he'll consider coming back, and there shouldn't be any blocks or anything in the way that prevent him from coming back there. If he
Precisely.
wants to come back, because I mean, you know, he's gonna be really missed if he. I don't know who you replace him with. The only person you can replace him with would be you, and you can't work 24/7.
Yeah. And we would hope that the politicians or those in government would not be of that mindset that because he was a candidate and because he may have been critical, you know, that should be held against him, because he certainly can be and has always been very objective when he has hosted his show.
Well, see, again, it's all a part of the game. So, I mean, who don't understand that? I mean, they need to pull their head out of the sand, you know?
Yep.
So, it's, you know, you can't get out. You can't go and start to run a campaign to get elected and be Mr. Nice Guy and tell all the other people that you're running against, oh, they're the best people in the world. What does that going to do for your campaign? You know, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. And I'm sure people understand that. So, I mean, that shouldn't be any other obstacle in the way of that also. But I see where you're coming from. But just another note, I'm very happy with the way things turned out. Maybe Peanut, I want to congratulate Peanut. And I just hope the rest of the crew will do something about these people parking on the sidewalks. The sidewalks are made for walking on. And I'm going to keep my eye open. I got personally called Peanut and congratulate him, and I can tell him this is what I want done, and this is what I expect to see done, and not for me, for the country and the people of this country that should have a place and not have to worry about cars, you know, you know, putting them in danger and all of this kind of you know, nonsense that should not be avoided. Because I mean, it just seems like, you know, the government that we keep electing, you know, they just keep promising, oh, we're going to do something about immigration. What this thing has been going on, OC, for the last 15, 20 years, that we have issues with immigration, and everybody now is promising you that they will address it. I mean, it's not like they were Trump when they went into Israel to say, we're going to fix this. Trump went and did it. You know, like it or you don't like it. I mean, you know, and this is what I don't really like about politicians, OC, and their manifesto. They'll put everything in the world on that and promise you, and as soon as they get elected, they tear it up. But you know, I just hope this is not the case with these that we got elected now. I hope the best for them, and I just want them to do the right thing for this country. And if that is asking too much, then I take it back.
Okay.
Have a good afternoon, my friend.
Thank you very much. You have a good afternoon and a good weekend, and stay safe as well.
Oh, yeah, you too. Weekend. Bye.
Okay. Any other callers on hold, Paul? Okay. One of our listeners wanted to know, why are we encouraged to mark a permanent ballot with a pencil and not a pen? I would say that the pencil is provided for you in there, and I think the presiding officer normally tells you that a pencil is in there. When I was told that, I said, that's okay, I have my pen, and I had my pen in the pocket. Now, this goes back to way back, the relics, you know, of time in relation to election legislation. And remember that in the Cayman Islands in the past, not a whole lot of our legislation was created locally. We borrowed from other legislation, and there's no question that this would have our elections legislation would have come from the mother country, and that was something of the past in terms of the using a pencil to mark. That needs to be changed in our election law. It has actually been changed so that you're allowed to mark your ballot paper with anything. People would prefer a permanent marker like a pen as opposed to a pencil. Those who have suspicions, I should say ill-conceived suspicions about the voting process and the counting process. So that's something that can easily be resolved. But the idea is that the elections personnel, the elections law calls for a marking utensil to be provided in the voting booth for you. Have to take that commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today will be back shortly.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway. Eat fresh.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valued customers of planned infrastructure works on Prospect Drive as part of the ongoing upgrades in the Prospect area. Work will begin on the week of the 24th of March and is scheduled to be completed on approximately the 2nd of May. During this time, customers may experience short periods of low water pressure or service outages. The Water Authority will make every effort to notify customers in advance of any service interruptions. Please check our website and social media pages for all updates on service interruptions. Motorists are encouraged to drive carefully along these roads as our crew will be actively on site. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciates the public's understanding.
Freedom, Cayman Brac. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. I'm your guest host, Orrett Connor. Mr. Mario Ebanks has shared something with us that he received in a WhatsApp message, and it reads, Mario, just wanted to say you should be seen as the real hero of this election. I know most people won't even notice, but the incredible restraint and selflessness that you showed by not running allowed the giant to be slain. The average quote-unquote politician would have jumped in with both feet. I just wanted you to know it has not passed everyone. The country owes you a debt. So I take it that they're speaking to the defeat of the candidate in West Bay West in relation to that. Now, I'm going to go back to another email that WhatsApp message that I received earlier, right? This person says, my family, 5 of us, went to the polling station at 2 p.m. and it was a breeze, 0 waiting time, in and out in a few minutes. They go on to say, Roy McTaggart wants to retire, but he's a man to his word, and he promised to stay on with Joey for 1 term to help him with the transition. Yes, I recall him saying that on my show as well. Kurt did that with Alden. Alden did that for Roy, and now Roy is doing the same for Joey. It's a part of the well-oiled machinery of the PPM. That was that one, but that wasn't really the one that I wanted to read as well. This was the one that I wanted to talk about. Okay, yeah, here we go. So where the person says, we recognize that each qualified person has a right to run in the election. That being said, these election results made a few things apparent. With the joining of the TCCP and the CINP, Roy McTaggart is vulnerable next election, so we can predict him announcing his retirement after this term. So that person who wrote that other thing explaining it, they have explained that part. And then they go on to say similar comments may be made for Roy Tatum unless he manages to do some amazing groundwork in the next 4 years. Then they go on to talk about Mr. Alric Lindsay. Now, what I want to say about the Roy McTaggart situation, we saw his margin of victory, right, in Georgetown East. Mr. Bud Johnson did incredibly well. And this is why I say 4 years is a short period of time in politics. I don't know what Mr. Bud Johnson's plans are for the future or for, the next election that will take place. But most politicians and in most jurisdictions, they would look at that and it is something that is referred to as a margin, the margin of victory, which was very small. So if it was a party, the PPM would look at that constituency and say, gosh, we only won this seat by a certain amount. Or the Cayman Islands National Party would look at it and say, oh, we only lost this seat by this amount, so this is the work that we have to do now. That was a very marginal seat there, and one seat that this Cayman Islands National Party could work on for the next election because it was so close. In relation to their comments about Mr. Alric Lindsay, smart, very smart young man, very intelligent, highly qualified and everything. And these are my personal views now, my personal view is that he has a tendency to become a little bit too technical. And sometimes you have to meet people where they are, not only physically, but also intellectually as well. And sometimes if you talk over people's head, then you're not going to get their attention, and you're not likely to get to gain their affection either, as far as voting is concerned. But certainly a young man that has a whole lot of potential as well. As to the remarks on the other candidates, I think that people should continue, as long as they feel that they have something to offer to their constituents, to get out there and campaign, put themselves forward as many times as they feel that they need to do so, until they decide on a personal level, that is it for me. I'm not going to take it any further as well. I want to make sure that I check all of these out. This person says, I wish Mr. Dwayne would come back too. Mr. OC, I miss him the other night when you and the others were working. We wish Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, all the best. And knowing him, he's going to make the right decision. He's going to make the decision that suits him, that he wants to make as well. Let's check the other WhatsApp messages. Okay, this person said, let's see what this message is all about before I read it. This one, something that was on CNS, said, Dear CNS, congratulations to Andre and the group for forming the government. However, I noted the trumpeting in several corners of this being the will of the people, and I take issue with that. There were 23 independent candidates. The electorate chose 17%. There were 13 PPM candidates. The electorate chose 54%. There were 10 CCP candidates. The electorate chose 40%. There were 12 CINP candidates. The electorate chose 33%. Therefore, when given the choice, the electorate said they would like the PPM candidates to represent them more than half the time, even higher if you count Saunders, who said from the get-go that he, and I'm sounding like I'm abbreviating everything, but that's because I have to keep scrolling the screen, would work, even though he said he would work with the PPM. Contrast that to the times they picked candidates from other groups. Then they go on to say, while what we are now seeing is perfectly legal, I do not think it is fair to say that this was the clear will of the electorate, given the ratios. If the PPM ran 19 candidates, the electorate would have elected 10 PPM candidates needed to form a government. Well, I am not into that sort of analysis, and I guess you can do anything that you can comprehend numbers in any way that you want. I can't say that I have enough time to really scrutinize all of this, but I thank the person for sharing it, and I will certainly look at it much closer to see, how I can critique it any further as well. With that, we have to go to our headline news at 2 o'clock. When we return, we will have less than half an hour to go in the show, folks. Please stay tuned. Talk today. We'll be back shortly.
Covering Little Cayman, Cayman Bragg. Cover me.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. The country's next Speaker of the House of Parliament and all new members of Parliament will officially be sworn in by Her Excellency Governor Jane Owen next Tuesday. Immediately following that event will be the public swearing in of ministers and members of Cabinet outside the precinct of the House of Parliament. The swearing in is set to begin at 2 p.m. In regional news, in Belize, a 2-year-old American child abducted and taken to Belize has been safely reunited with their custodial parents. U.S. and Belizean authorities have confirmed and says officials did not release further details, but the FBI-led operation, in collaboration with Belizean law enforcement, ensured the child's safe return. Diplomatic Services Special Agent Lou Wood commended the cooperation between the U.S. and Belizean agencies, describing it as instrumental in resolving the case. The Public Workers Union has rejected the Grenada government's proposed 4% salary increase for public sector workers under the new collective agreement set to take effect on the 1st of January 2026. Public Workers Union President Daisy Hazard made the announcement during a Labor Day rally, vowing that workers would not settle for the government's standard annual raise. She criticized wage gaps under the Fiscal Reliance Act and demanded fairer increases. Grenada Trade Union Council President Andre Lewis also warned of worsening industrial relations, accusing the government of violating employment laws and breaking its election promises. Lewis condemned the appointment of anti-union figures to key statutory roles, alleging they seek to weaken workers' rights. He compared the government's stance to anti-labor tactics used in the United States. That's your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News. Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We have less than half an hour to go in the show this afternoon. This person has written and said that they agree with the person who sent the message about the pencil. I did not like the idea that we had to write with a pencil and not a permanent marker. The pencil thing needs to be changed. I agree with you partially. I guess it wasn't advertised enough that you could carry your own marking utensil into the voting booth with you. Certainly, I remember when you were required to use that pencil in the voting booth, the election staff on the outside who were checking you before you go in would ask you if you have any pen or anything like that you had to leave behind as well. If you notice, they don't do that anymore. But seems clear to me now that more emphasis need to be placed on the fact that you can use a pen to mark your ballot as well. And bear in mind now, if you were using a postal ballot, if you were at home marking your postal ballot to be put in there, you use a pen, as well. But the point is well taken that some people didn't know what the situation was. This person has written in and said, good points on Alric, Mr. Connor. Insightful overview on a whole. I know him. He's a smart guy, but and has a tendency to get very, very technical, and that's has a lot to do with his training, as well, in his various professions. This other one said that they were disappointed that Alec Lindsay didn't win. However, they feel it's because how Georgetown South has been created. The affluence and growth in South Sound has played and is playing a huge role in who wins that vote. Very interesting. And possibly true, might be true as well. This person says, hi OC, I have to say, I wish Raul Gonzalez had the same head as Mario to not run for Newlands. He has been rejected so many times by the people. If he was not taking their votes, I am sure the results would have been different. And then they go on to say you can mark it with a pen or pencil. They provide the pencil, but a pen can definitely be used, and they're absolutely right. Many people that I spoke to were highly impressed with Mr. Raul Gonzalez when I had the face-to-face discussion with him, because no other candidate was there here for the debate. He was impressive. Many people were impressed, with him as well. And I believe that his numbers seem to improve, every year, as well. Some people view politics as a short game, playing a short game. Some people view it as playing the long game. Mr. Gonzalez is a young man, so he has a lot of time. Not, keep himself, out there. Make sure that he's visible, and he may reap the benefits one of these days. I'm not going to really criticize anyone for putting themselves up. It takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy, as well. And, we should applaud them for that. We have several callers. Let's grab the callers. First caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm excellent. I want to talk a little bit about that issue of the ballot with the pencil.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that you're very familiar with the election process.
Mm-hmm.
And I've looked at the entire process myself from beginning to end. And if there's a criticism that I could offer, the pencil wouldn't be one of them. That would actually be the least of my worries. If it was written in chalk, I wouldn't care, because the level of scrutiny that's given to the entire process with the observers,
mm-hmm.
with the agents for the candidates,
yep.
The way that the ballots are counted, it's a very well-defined system, and there's no opportunity. There is zero opportunity for any ballot to be changed.
Right.
Zero. If people want to worry about something else, we have serious issues that we need to be thinking about. But a pencil for the ballot is zero concern. I take my hat off to the way that the election office runs our elections. It is amazing. Now, I'll tell you something that you would want to worry about. I heard a reporter asking the observers today
mm-hmm.
About, what do they think about electronic voting? Now, if you want to worry about something, you should worry about that, okay? Because there are tons of opportunities for manipulating the election process in electronic voting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay. Remind me of what, because I watched it as well. What was the response to that? I think they said something.
That wasn't really that wasn't really their concern. And basically what they were saying was that they were there to observe whether we were in compliance
with the international standards. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to say that's the preview of the
mm-hmm.
purview of the government. If they want to do that, that's
right.
up to them.
Right.
But the point that I want to make is that if you want something to worry about whether it goes electronic or not, but do not worry about whether it's a pencil.
But even if it went electronic, do most jurisdictions have some sort of manual backup system as well, a verification system? It isn't just electronic.
That's true. But understand this. Let's look at the purpose of having an electronic is you want to speed it up.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you speed through the whole process and nobody is happy with the outcome. You're still going to have to turn around and count everything manual anyhow.
Mm.
Right? I recommend that we just stick to manual because there is too much room for abuse. We don't have the time to get into all the scenarios.
No, we don't, because I have about 3 callers queued up behind you.
Right? But the only point I want to make is do not worry about a pencil.
Right.
Our process is rock solid.
I agree.
Do a great job. We have an awesome system.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, caller. Paul, you want to take that commercial break now? When we return, we just go straight through. One more caller? Okay. What? Next caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Hey, good afternoon, OC.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, not bad at all, sir. Not bad at all. Thank you. I'll be quick, like I know you want to take that commercial. I just wanted to give a quick call, and echo those words from the last caller there that, our election process is exceptional. We need to have questions to that. I just wanted to, say that, obviously, I mentioned, I think to you before, where a lot of people have been sympathizing regarding Dr. Honorable William McKeever Bush not being successful in the West Bay West candidacy. And of course, congratulations to Miss Julie Hunter as well. Too, but you know what? The vote was very close, very close.
Yeah,
a lot of things could have caused that. There's a lot of questions. I'll leave that for Mr. Bush when he make his statements and speak more towards his feelings of it. But that time will come. Other than that, he's doing good. His farm is doing good.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, excellent. His wife is doing well as well. A lot of people have been, speculating on all kinds of things. But, she's up. I personally spoke to her. She's, doing well as well. And that's a positive thing as well. On the mean hand, I was very disappointed on the turnout for the West Bay West constituency because the voter number was so low, and what was most disappointing is that a lot of people, who just didn't come out, and that was a big thing.
But what's interesting with that caller is that usually they say that low voter turnout goes in favor of the incumbent.
In some cases, and it was a low turnout as well, and that's why the vote was so close. But like I said, I don't want to get into any of the reasons because, of course, spoiled ballots, certain people that maybe shouldn't have been voting because they were the jurisdiction so long, and things like that might have made up that 6 or 9 difference that you had to, proclaim the winner.
But you know that can't be challenged. That challenge should have been made during the registration period.
Right, and nobody's challenging anything. Like we said, congratulations to Ms. Julie Hunter. She herself worked under Mr. Bush for many years.
Yep, so I'm told.
The concerns directly in West Bay West and throughout the whole West Bay in a larger Cayman. So she's no stranger to anything, and obviously she's not in it. That powerhouse like Mr. Bush to be able, whether you're in the back seat of the car, you can still drive it from there. But at the same time, Mr. Bush is a young man as well. He's younger than President Donald Trump. Like he's reminding people of that. And we see Trump out there performing like he just got out of college. At the same time, I just wanted to echo those words of your last caller as well to say that our election process, like I said, I found my process to it, I was glad when I got my sticker at the end. Such a nice compliment, and the whole process was maybe parking and a little walking distance could have been changed, but other than that, it was exceptional.
Okay, thanks.
And OC, thank you for the time, thank you for the call, and have a wonderful, safe weekend to you and the wider Cayman Islands as well.
Thank you, and you do the same as well, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay, ready for that break now, Paul? We're going to take our last commercial break. How many callers do we have on hold still? Just one caller? Okay, and I have about 3 or 4 WhatsApp messages here as well, so we'll probably make that caller the last caller. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Have you ever dreamed of starting a business that offers an authentic Caymanian product and service and shares the magic of these islands? With the Visitor Experience Development Grant, you could get up to $50,000 to bring your idea to life. From wellness to tech, cultural workshops to food experiences, the opportunity is yours. Applications open from April 15th to May 30th. Take the first step. Visit www.ourcayman.ky/VEDGP today to find out more.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We're on the last leg of the show this afternoon. WhatsApp message again. This person says Romelia is impressive too as a community advocate. Then the person voices their or questions whether or not she's ready for government. And I must say that most politicians, when they first elected, are not ready for government unless they have worked in government in some capacity. The majority had not worked for government before. So Ms. Romelia, just like everybody else, would go through a learning process. And some have come out, really being experts at it in the long run, while, others. So she has equal opportunity as any other person. This person says, good afternoon. As an agent for this and several past elections, quite a few persons asked if they could use a pen and they were told no, that a pencil was provided. That is unfortunate. Again, not reflective of the training that is being done, but sometimes some people have a tendency to make their own rules as they go along. I remember in my days at immigration, sometimes some of our customers would complain to me and they would say, you go to one officer and they tell you one thing, and you go to another officer, you ask the same question and they give you a different answer. They tell you something else. That happens at times. And in this particular case, that is unfortunate, really unfortunate, because they didn't have to use that pencil. They could have used a pen. This person Says, but the zero possibility would be much less using a pen. So the person says, sorry, they didn't hear my clarification of the reason for not using ink. It's just a relic of the past that we have in our legislation, in our elections law, something that really needs to be maybe removed entirely. But I believe, and I have to look at the section, I believe that all the elections office, the supervisor, the returning officer, whomever is responsible, has to provide some marking utensil for the ballot paper. I don't believe it says pencil anymore. I will check it, and at a future show, God willing, I will clarify it, for you. But when it was in the legislation that you had to mark it by a pencil, not only told you a pencil, but it said, what number the lead had to be. I think it was such a thing as a number 2 or a number 3 lead pencil that it had to be marked with as well. But it's all legislation that needs to be removed. This person says, Hayosi, do you know of any Caymanian who created, design, and manufacture a board game? I believe that there was, Just wondering if I'm the only Caymanian to do so. Anyone knows? So if you have created a board game, tell us what that board game is, and we can, we see how many people know about that board game, and we can promote it for you as well. Want to get back to the election observers. Those of you, and I hope and I trust that many of you were able to watch it. We heard one of our callers, who I know, but I won't call by name because I don't have the permission. But we know that he follows all of these things very, very, closely, and he obviously watched it. Now, I was really, really pleased, with the fact that they had so many positive things to say about the conduct of the election, the temperament of persons, the election workers, and everything, right? When I heard them talk about our Constitution, and when I heard them talk about the qualifications to be elected and the qualifications as a voter. And before I go any further, let me congratulate Mr. Andrew Harris for his questions. Very probing, extremely relevant, and he had quite a few of them as well. And really, and I think the observers there, they appreciated the questions that he was asking. But when they got to that whole issue of qualifications as an elector and qualifications for elected office and our Constitution, and talking about extending the franchise to vote and for elected office, I was involved in elections from 1983, first as a returning officer in 1984 in the District of West Bay. Many of you would not have heard of this organization before, the Young Caymanian Business Association, YCBA. Had many members, like my late friend Ned Solomon. I'm sure Tim Adams was involved in it, several other persons. And that organization always advocated for changes in relation to qualifications to vote. And if you note, in our amendments to our 1972 Constitution, almost all, if not all, of the amendments had to do with voter qualification and qualifications to be a candidate. And every time those amendments were put in, they made it more and more difficult for non-Caymanians to qualify as a candidate, and you had to possess Caymanian status and you had to be a British Overseas Territory citizen in order for you to register as a voter as well. And this was from the 80s, and it continued on. We here in the Cayman Islands, this is my personal opinion, we are currently at risk of losing our identity through inward immigration. Yes, we need work permits, but we don't necessarily need to invite people to come here to live on a permanent basis. If we continue to extend the franchise, especially to be a candidate in our elections, then we are accelerating, folks, the extinction of ourselves as Caymanians. We cannot allow that to happen. And that is one of the issues that I will take up with any observer mission or any subcommittee of the United Kingdom Parliament in wanting to twist our arms for us to contribute to the demise of Caymanians and our cultural identity in the Cayman Islands. We cannot allow that to happen, and that is one issue. If I was in that conference room this morning, I would have addressed that issue, even though they only mentioned it, and I guess it's going to come out in their final report. But that is something that we have to be aware of. And those of you who claim that you champion the cause of Caymanians and that you want to ensure that we don't lose our identity and we want to ensure that Cayman remains for Caymanians, then you're going to have to do more than just talk about it. You're going to have to take action as well in that regard. So that was my sticking point with them, and that is the sticking point that I will have with any of them, because in my lifetime I have always advocated for it to remain one of the cornerstones of our Caymanian identity is that right for us to hold elected office, and it should only be us, only be Caymanians, with the connection, with the Caymanian connections, parent or grandparent born in the Cayman Islands and things of that nature. They don't like that. They may object to it because it may not afford to international standards. But there are certain things that you want to adhere to international standards, and then there are certain issues that are specific to us. We are a small jurisdiction. 25,600 and I believe 41 voters registered. More can be registered because a lot of Caymanians are not registered to vote, don't register to vote. But we have opened every other door and every other window, and that trap door must remain closed. Probably got a lot of flack for this. I hope some of you Caymanians will applaud it, as well. But we have to stand up for that. With that, some people may say, well, at the end of the week, and that's where he left us. That's where he left us hanging. I'm going to say to you, enjoy the weekend. Remember that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and we should extend a helping hand to them. If we can't do that, then we should donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. Have a great weekend. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923